Welcome back, and thank you for joining for another one of Mike and Billy's whiskey reviews. Today, I will bring you the Edradour Natural Cask Strength. Show you the bottle, although there's not much you can glean from looking at the bottle. There is no ABV on the bottle. There is no information aside from Edradour Natural Cask Strength Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. All of the information on this one, not on the tin either, by the way. Tin's pretty much bare as well. All the information on this one comes from this little card they put right here. So what I did was took the information off the card, which says Edradour distilled in 2002. It says distilled in 28/8, so August 28th of 2002, and it was bottled, it looks like, the 12th of June of 2017. This is cask number 1416. And there's a total of 700 of these bottles made. So not a ton of information, a little bit hard to get some information on this particular bottle. They don't tell you a lot, at least as far as the packaging goes, so I try to do a little bit of research on my own. Now, before I go any further, I have to thank the Malted Man Cave, Keith, for giving me this bottle. Thank you, Keith. I got to enjoy a little bit of it earlier today, and I tell you what, I was pretty impressed with this whiskey. And now I want to tell you what I think about it. So again, this is a 14-year-old whiskey. It was aged in a sherry cask, a single sherry cask, and again, cask number 1416. So we're going to be looking at the Edradour 14-year-old. I really don't know much about this distillery. It's the first Edradour I've ever even tried in my life. So again, thank you, Keith, for giving me the opportunity to try this whiskey. The Malted Man Cave and myself, we will oftentimes swap a few whiskeys that each other have not had. Also kind of influence each other on what we think some of the better sherried and peated whiskeys are. So, with no further delay, let's get into this Edradour. Really excited to see this one. It has a nice sherry color, nice sherry gold. And this is probably a good time to mention that it is natural color. It is not chill filtered, and again, a cask strength whiskey at 54, was it 0.7? 54.7% ABV. So high ABV, love the high ABV, love the natural color, which is a beautiful caramel color on this one. So I'm gonna give a little swirl around the glass, and then we're gonna nose it and taste it, and I'm gonna tell you guys what I think of it. Now, as far as the legs go, legs are pretty spread apart. Looks fairly oily. I mean, kind of what you expect out of a cask strength whiskey. And especially a sherry cask strength whiskey. Now, I've only had a couple of drams of this. Keith didn't leave me a ton of it, but enough to have a couple of drinks ahead of time to get a formulated opinion, and then to bring this drink here for you guys today. So, with no further delay, let's get in the nose. Ooh, full and rich. That is a sherry cask. Probably not a first fill sherry cask, although I'm completely guessing on that because, again, very hard to get information on this one. Probably a refill cask. I believe they called that traditional the first time, or the first refill. But man, it's full and it's sherried and it's rich. It's almost like, well, instead of telling you what it reminds me of, let me kind of give you a few of the flavors. Like it's, again, you're gonna get sherry. It has a really nice sugary caramel. And I know caramel is something that I say a lot, and probably a lot of whiskey reviewers do, but this is a very candied, sugared caramel. It's spicy too, super spicy, cinnamon big time. It's barley rich. It almost reminds me of, not reminds me of, but if you've ever had a Brooklotic local barley, kind of reminds me a little bit of one of those as far as the barley smell that you get on the nose. A lot of cereals on the nose, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And definitely cinnamon and definitely spice. Definitely I'm gonna say something I've said before too, and I'll say like at a fair here in the United States, we get like a carameled apple. Not like, sometimes we get them with nuts, but this isn't one with nuts. It's just caramel in the apple. Almost like a carameled apple with extra sugar drenched all over it. I mean, there's already sugar in the caramel itself, but man, this is incredibly sweet on the nose. Almost think in your mind like a Balvenie 15-year-old single barrel, but at a higher ABV and sweeter, if that can even be possible. Because I'm a huge fan of the 15-year-old single barrel, but I get a lot of the remembrances of that whiskey in this. And almost like a confectionery, no, I mean not confectionery. You know, when I was a kid, after we would go to church, my dad would always take us to get donuts for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Probably something sweet to stuff after sit through a Catholic mass every week. But we would get those 3-packs of 4 plain donuts, 4 powdered sugar donuts, and 4 cinnamon donuts. Now, me and my 2 younger sisters would split the donuts. One sister liked the cinnamon, the other one liked the powdered sugar, and I got stuck with the plain donuts. What this almost, it does, what it reminds me of is a plain donut with just a little bit of cinnamon on it. Like the cinnamon fell off the other donut, or they were like buffered up against each other, so the plain donut touched the cinnamon donut. So you're getting mainly that plain donut, but a little bit of cinnamon on that donut. That cinnamon sugar. Yeah, that's actually what it is. It's a plain donut with just a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on it. Almost like if you undercooked toast and then put butter and cinnamon and sugar and sprinkled it on there. But again, the toast isn't stiff. It's like you almost have to worry about how much you butter it because you don't want the bread to tear. It's kind of like that. Wonder Bread, of course. But a great nose. And that's why I really love cask strength whiskeys. I'll bring it down as I need it. Man, give it to me a cask strength. I'll pay the extra money. A good cask strength whiskey, I just, anymore, I really appreciate them. Yeah, it's a plain donut with cinnamon and sugar. Oh, that's good. Almost like if donuts were a cereal. So, because you get the barley too, it's almost like if you made a plain donut cereal and sprinkled cinnamon and sugar on it. That's what this smells like. It's really delicious. All right, time for the first sip. Spicy. If this is cherry oak, it wouldn't shock me. Maybe it was a French oak cask. It's spicy. Really spicy. Heavily sherried. And now that's kind of fading in the background. It's almost like, this is probably a bad example, but have you ever had Red Hots? It's like a candied Red Hot that's soft, if that makes any sense to you at all. Like it's not like it's not quite as intense as a Red Hot. That's almost the only thing like I can compare it to because it's like that red cinnamon and it's spicy and it's tangy. What else am I getting? Definitely getting, now it's laying on my palate, which is kind of a medium finish. Definitely getting like a milk chocolate coming through. That's pretty nice. Almost like a mint chocolate. Like, I guess I would say like a mint chocolate ice cream. It's like somewhere, it's like take it Red Hots and mint chocolate chip ice cream, and it's kind of somewhere in between those. But now with a little bit of honey coming in at the end. Wow, it's a good whiskey. It's a good whiskey. I looked this up on Master of Malt, just some of the other national cask strengths. I think they were selling for around $90. Of course, that doesn't include shipping. And usually master malt's quite a bit cheaper than what we get whiskeys for here. So this is a pure guess, I would venture to say Keith probably paid, $150 or something for this, I would imagine. But a wonderful sherried whiskey. I mean, this is a really, really nice strain. Thank you, Keith. All right, so what I did was I just added a little bit of water, kind of see what it changes. I often do that. Just kind of give you guys the full experience. I always like to try whiskeys neat initially. Even if I've had them many times, I like to have them neat. Just kind of start out the day with that, and then add a little bit of water just to kind of see what it does to the taste, open up the smell. Now, as I said at the beginning, this is only a 14-year-old whiskey, so I don't know if adding water is going to help or it's going to hurt it. Usually for younger whiskey, you can kind of be a little more generous with water. You don't have to worry about it damaging it, but we'll see where we're at with this. Well, on the nose, it softened it, which is to be expected. I'm still getting the barley, still getting like that doughy plain donut. Still getting that carameled apple, without question, carameled apple. But the cinnamon and the spices drawn back some, which I actually kind of like because it was super cinnamon and spice forward initially, both on the palate and on the nose. You almost had to get through the spicy cinnamon to kind of get to the other flavors. Almost like with a peated whiskey, if it's heavily peated, kind of have to get past that peat to pick up some of the other flavors. This is heavily sherried. This is heavily spicy. But man, it's so candied and sweet at the same time. I mean, again, it's candied red hots. And a plain donut with a little bit of cinnamon sugar on it. Wow, nice. I would say I like smelling it or like nosing it a little bit better without water, but might as well try both. All right, last sip. On the palate again, those spices hit you quick, boy. I mean, the spices are forward, they're there. Then milk chocolate. Again, I think mint chocolate chip ice cream is a good way to describe this. Mint chocolate chip ice cream with red hots on top. I know that doesn't sound very appealing, but let me tell you it is. Whew, it's a good one. Thank you again, Keith. For those of you who made it to the end of the video and are missing Billy and I are planning to get together tomorrow. So by the time you see this video, we'll have probably knocked out 3 or 4 videos together. So me and Billy are going to try to get together probably twice a month and knock out 3 or 4 videos. So 1 or 2 videos a week with Billy and I for sure. I might still do a few of these one-offs now and again just to keep content out there and for you. I hope that doing the solo videos didn't limit your entertainment as far as watching Mike and Billy's whiskey reviews. It's just, we want to get videos out there for you guys, and sometimes we can't always mesh our schedules together. I'm off on the weekends. That's Billy's busy time. Yeah, he works in the tattoo industry, as you know, and they have to conform to when people are available, which is nights and weekends. And that's usually the time that I'm off, so we have conflicting schedules, but we'll make it work. Point in saying that is Billy is coming back. Like I said, by the time you watch this video, we'll have knocked out a few ourselves. So I hope me doing them solo every once in a while isn't a deterrent for you. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for, once again, tuning in for another one of Mike and Billy's whiskey reviews. I always love to talk to you guys in the comment section, so keep those coming. And until next time, I'll see you in the comment section, and happy drinking.